saw something on top of the heart and around the heart. A lot of research later, he could establish it is a brain. It has white matter, gray matter, neurons, everything. People who have a heart transplant have a change a lot of times of behavior, likes, dislikes. It cannot be explained unless you know the person where the heart came from, because then you see those behaviors, likes, memories. And if you say, why it's the most powerful brain? Because your heart brain can be measured up to 9 meters outside your body. Based on the electromagnetic power it has, it do boom, 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 boom. Secondly, if people say, yeah, why is it in charge? If your heart beats, boom, 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 6 milliseconds later,
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Life Coach Code. Today I have something truly extraordinary for you. In November, from 11th till 14th of November, we are organizing a summit called the Superhuman Summit. We're going to dive deep into each of the 4 fundamental pillars of the human being: the spirit, the mind, the body, and the heart. Because we strongly believe that in each of these 4 fundamental pillars, there is a hidden superpower waiting for you to uncover it, understand it, so you can embody it and harness it. On this summit, there will be over 25 coaches and experts that will speak about their topics that are all aligned to help you uncover these 4 superpowers. There will be over 12 workshops so they can help you embody these superpowers. There will be panel discussions, a lot of networking opportunities for you with like-minded individuals, and a lot of free gifts that each coach will offer to you for free on the summit just for you participating there. The most extraordinary thing about this summit is the price itself, because all of this, the projected value is over $30,000. The summit itself costs less than 1 meal. It's for the price what you would pay for 1 meal. You get 4 days of transformation, working with over 25 coaches and experts from all around the world, over 12 workshops, panels, a lot of free gifts, for the price that's less than 1 meal. So that's the truly extraordinary thing. If you want to jump into this summit and transform yourself into a superhuman, go to the link in the description or go to lifecoachcode.com/superhuman summit. Again, lifecoachcode.com/superhuman summit, and get your 4-day pass there, because the value is over the roof, price is under the floor, and if you don't have time, everything's going to be recorded, so you can get the recordings after the event finishes. So go to the link in the description, get your 4-day pass, or go to lifecoachcode.com/superhuman summit and get your 4-day pass from there. Today, I'm super excited. I'm actually going to talk on this podcast with one of the coaches that I had a lot of passion to bring on this podcast. And there is the topic we're going to talk about I'm super passionate about. So I'm going to introduce to you first who this coach is. Christoffel, he is an ICF MCC Executive Coach and 3 Brains coaching trainer. He helps individuals and teams work and live passionately and perform at their best. With 30 years of leadership, coaching, and therapy experience, he specializes in integrating the wisdom of the 3 brains: head for analysis, gut for resilience, and heart for compassion. So join today me and Christoffel. We're going to talk about the 3 brains and why the heart brain is probably one of the most powerful brain of these 3 brains. Christoffel, it's an honor to have you here, sir. Welcome.
thank you so much. And if I listen to all your stories about me, think, oh, wow. Luckily, you don't see too much, otherwise I start blushing. But yes, hey, by the way, for everybody who enrolls, he said $30,000. I'm just asking you one question. Say your life would be at stake with one horrible disease. How much would you like to pay for that to get healthy again? The money you will get, the money you will love to pay more than $30,000. The 4 days you're going to embark on, if you join us, will almost give your life back. So it's an investment for the future. I wanted to say that because most people, when do they start really taking care of themselves? When it's almost too late. And on that moment, they take mortgages on their house to pay their health. Well, if you would do it up front, it will be just a limited thing of it. So, Dejan, I'm so happy you're going to make this 4 days of summit, because it will be freaking amazing. As I know, and I saw all the speakers, besides me, of course, we bring so much value there. Yes, I know. I'm Dutch, and sometimes we love to be a little bit arrogant, but it is more because what you just said, and it is so true. The heart is an amazing power there. If you understand how we work and what we do, spirit, mind, body, heart, all ingrained, you can make massive change. You can make massive health changes, success changes, wellness. It's all somewhere in your grip if you do it. Because all those superhumans who win the gold medal, who are top politicians, top notch somewhere in their business, having a beautiful health, they don't have a lot of difference with us. The only thing I almost come aware of, not for a lot of CEOs, but say older people who are healthy or doing amazingly good in sports, they all have the 3 brains aligned. Now, okay, what do you like to talk about? Because otherwise I take over the whole show and I give almost here
I can listen to
and
you
talk about it.
for days. I can just sit here and listen to you talk, because I love this topic and I love how you talk and how you explain these things. But let's jump right into it.
Yeah.
Is the heart a brain? Like, we talk about 3 brains. So is the heart a brain?
The simple answer is yes, but of course then you ask, how do you mean? It's not. I'm not a neuroscientist. I'm not a biologist. I'm not a surgeon. Please not. Show me blood and I'm the first one who probably faints. But something like 35 years ago, Dr. Andre Moore, a neurocardiologist, so somebody who cuts open people and those kind of stuff, massive amount of heart surgeries, came aware that he saw something on top of the heart and around the heart. A lot of research later, he could establish it is a brain. It has white matter, gray matter, neurons, glias, dendrites, axons, everything. Approximately 100,000 brain cells. And they can actually act independently. They can memorize. And if people say, don't believe it, then I just say, Google change after heart transplants. And you come aware that people who have a heart transplant have a change a lot of times of behavior, likes, dislikes, even have dreams or other kind of things that cannot be explained unless you know the person where the heart came from, because then you see those behaviors, likes, memories coming in. There are massive things that now, and of course you can say, oh, that is luck. No, it is more than 80% of people who have a heart surgery who have those experiences. Like if it's 1, you could say that's luck. If it's 2, you could say, good luck. If it's 80% of the population who have a heart transplant, it's just a scientific fact. On the question, why don't we know more about this? Now, then I'm going to be extremely careful, but also not, because you don't make money with that. Because just imagine that you come aware the heart as a brain has an own responsibility for our health, for our life, and what we do and don't do, then probably all the medication, all those pharmaceutical sell, and all the psychiatrists and psychologists have to change their system. And yeah, if you look how much profit pharmaceuticals make, they don't like to change all those beautiful stuff. Yeah, because depression pills and medication is massive high in anxiety. That is billions and billions and billions of profit. Not only revenue, profit. So just imagine if you know the heart has a brain, and in my words also the gut has a brain. In the same area by neurobiologist Dr. Michael Gershwin wrote a book about it, The Second Brain. 500 million brain cells in your gut. The same size of the little cat you're now cuddling at Dejan. And if you know that they are brains, and that our immune system is actually our gut system almost, because all the neurotransmitters and hormones that are produced in your gut system, so the small intestine, the adrenal glands or your kidneys, they do everything for your health. Actually, you don't need anything else. We humans are the only one who have all those diseases. Your average cat doesn't have the diseases we have, if they are in nature. Only when we start them giving other kind of food, processed food, and that kind of things, they can get issues. But just imagine that your gut system can produce the same ingredients as you put in Prozac or Valium, what is actually totally true. Then actually maybe you don't need Xanax or Valium. And you know how much profit they make with that. So just imagine you would work with people in that case. It happens. I was just reading the book of Gara Mate, his latest one. The normality of, say, of health. And he talks about, say, all the chronic diseases and what is the major common dominator. That is actually, in my words, too much heart brain and too less gut brain. Surfing attitude, loving attitude, putting your own boundaries away. And that is all the quality of the heart brain. The heart brain releases also oxytocin, the cuddle and love hormone. Every time you cuddle your cat, Dajan, a little bit of oxytocin is released. The cat knows that. And you start cuddling it. And that love hormone takes care that we bond. Why is bonding so important? Because when your average cat can see in 3 weeks, the average zebra can run in half a day, or in half an hour actually. We humans, the first couple of years, we are totally dependent of our caregivers / parents to survive. Bonding is our biggest survival mechanism. If we don't bond, we're dead, period. A biological fact we bond, oxytocin. So in the adult world, we still like to follow our biological means, bonding. Even if it's not healthy for us anymore. And you can train, like you can train your head by going to school and train all kind of knowledge. You can also train your heart and you can train your gut. Just like every muscle, your brain is a muscle, it trains to become stronger. We socialize people to become more and more and more heart brain. And before you know, you get sick. Who gets the most sick? Who has the biggest heart brain? Females. Because we educate females to be serving, sweet and nice to us. We men are educated more in the gut brain to be strong, decisive, and don't feel our own feelings. And the more heart brain, the less gut brain, the more prone you are to diseases. It's just, and I know I'm talking right away 5 minutes. And why is that? It is my passion. It would be so great if they follow those 4-day summit, learn all those things and become healthier. Because health is in your own hands. Success is in your own health. Happiness is in your own hands. Okay, it was a long answer on does the heart have a brain? I know.
This is a brilliant answer. So I just want to make sure that I understand it correctly. So there are 3 brains. Our brain that we know of, in the head, the heart, and the gut.
Yes.
Each of these 3 brains, scientists, doctors found that there is gray matter, there are neurons, etc. Things that are by default, by definition, shaping an organ that we call a brain. So that's why there are 3 brains. You're saying that most of the diseases in the world happen when we have more heart brain, less gut brain. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So can we elaborate more on this? I know you already said it, but can we, for example, because I really want to understand, the heart brain let's just start by this. What is the purpose of each brain?
Okay. You said it in the beginning. I will make it extremely simple otherwise. So let's go to survival back, and we do it from bottom up. What's the most important thing for our survival? Food, nutrition, reproduction. If you go to the first organisms in this world 500 million years ago, you see actually a digestive system. Food comes in, waste material goes out. Now, a little bit more advanced are we. It comes in our mouth, and you know where it ends. Let's not put it right away in the podcast, but everybody knows somewhere where it ends. That's the digestive system. The digestive system, just like in nature, can be almost living creatures by itself. Look at the average sea cucumber, and you see actually a whole intestine living around and being already there for millions of years while they're successful. That one does not have any social interactions, And the only reason is to survive. And if you now think logically, a sea cucumber, let's take it as an example, can survive even though it's living in the sea. And if it sometimes gets a scar, it heals by itself. It knows how to detect something, how to protect itself, and all this kind of stuff. So that gut system, actually that sea cucumber, has all the qualities to survive by itself. It doesn't need a heart, it doesn't need a head, it doesn't need arms, etc. The gut is a survival mechanism. So if you think, what's the gut brain? Survival. Me, myself, and I. I have to be strong. I have to be in control. I have to have the power. If you think about the heart, we are more developed animals than, say, that little sea cucumber. We are group animals. If you now talk about monkeys, if you now talk about humans, what are some like, we are group animals. Everything in our survival, as I said, is about bonding. The heart is an extremely powerful brain for bonding. Because bonding is actually for us humans the most important thing for survival. Of course, food, drink, etc., etc. But how do we get it? By bonding. If you're 1 year old, you cannot crawl to the fridge, open the fridge, and get some milk out there. If daddy or mommy or whomever doesn't give it to you, your exit. Bonding. So the whole heart has one big thing: bonding, taking care, connect. And if you say, why it's the most powerful brain? Because your heart brain can be measured up to 9 meters outside your body. Based on the electromagnetic power it has, if you do boom, 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 boom. Secondly, if people say, yeah, why is it in charge? If your heart beats, boom, 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 6 milliseconds later, your amygdala sparks up. The amygdala that we all know, oh, it's in your limbic brain, that is now. That has power of almost all the neurotransmitters to somewhere regulate our body. And based on the boom boom or the signal from the heart, the amygdala knows what to do and which neurotransmitter has to be more, less, or whatever. So the heart is actually saying
it's like they're in communication. The heart with its rhythm, it's actually telling the amygdala what to do.
Yes, absolutely. So if you go to, say, now if you go to heart math, who love all the science about the heart, they have massive research in it, how that works and how that doesn't work. It's just amazing. And they talk about heart coherence. What heart coherence is, we have a boom, 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 say 60 minutes a minute. That doesn't say anything. The in-between time of your heart, so is it, say, always 1, 1, 1, 1 second a beat, or is it 1.1, 0.9, 1.2, 0.8? That's actually a heart coherence. That shows actually, besides, yes, how quick it beats, what kind of state your heart is, what is happening actually. Because we both know if you are stressed or fear, your heart beats up. It gets a little bit more arrhythmic beating. That arrhythmic beating, the amygdala know and think, oh shit, we have to take action. Okay, adrenaline, neuropilin, cortisol, send it out. Prepare for fight or flight. If the brain, the neocortex, does not get the signal within 5 seconds, there's nothing happening. The signal really also goes to the adrenal glands. That shows all those neurotransmitters in the blood flow. The next 5 hours, you're in a fight or flight state. And you can do all your stuff. And why is it so important to make the story, to finish the story? And you can see it in boxing games. It's not the best example. People get a slap that you and me probably would never stand up with. But based on their means fight or flight response, the body actually says, I cannot go down because then I am dead. So the body with all those neurotransmitters actually stops feeling the pain, stop a lot of responses actually to survive. And that's all done by the heart, who's somewhere in stress together with the gut. It's just amazing.
I believe the Heart Math Institute proved that the heart is around 100 times electromagnetically more powerful than the brain, right?
5,000.
5,000. Oh, that's...
It's just a little bit. It's just a little bit more.
That's incredible, because we all know how powerful the brain is. We know that the brain is actually like the whole reality that you're perceiving basically comes from the senses that are translating this information in your brain. So the brain is in a way constructing your reality. So something to be 5,000 times more powerful than that, I don't know if I can really grasp my mind around it. Like basically means
sorry to interrupt you. And I mean, stronger is the electromagnetic force, 5,000 times stronger. So in decision making, there's a different kind of math, but say in the energy that it emits is 5,000 times stronger. That makes sense. Just one little example on that. You know what's the beauty of our heart? And they research that in monasteries and all this kind of stuff. When you put people together, also if you actually put animals together, but they saw it more in human world, in monasteries, all the women or nuns who are living there synchronized their period. Now, we don't skip in the why is happening that, but the synchronization happens by actually the hearts that are communicating with each other. Based on, hey, how are you? How are you doing? And based on those signals, they synchronize the body. It's just freaking amazing how the heart does that.
It's super fascinating, and we're gonna dive a lot deeper into this. When we're talking about the heart, and we must talk also about emotions, right? So when we are feeling emotions, yes, we are feeling them in our body, but emotions, the heart is mainly responsible for what we call the heart pillar for the emotional self, for feeling emotions. How much do you think that the heart itself is responsible, like the brain in the heart itself, responsible for promoting emotions that we feel inside our bodies? In other words, are emotions first created in the heart, then the heart is communicating with the amygdala and the whole body chemistry, or is it just this false and just my theory?
Emotions are a beautiful thing to talk about. Lisa Barrett-Feldman, a neuroscientist, has a book about the construction of emotions, and actually says our verbalization of an emotion is totally incorrect. Based on research, actually, most humans are not capable of really making aware what is now my emotion. Because what's actually emotion? That's a release of, say, biological neurotransmitters. A little bit more or less pressure in our body from the heart, higher or lower pressure, higher or more heart beating. So our interpretation of those sensations, what's happening in our body, sweaty palms and those kind of stuff, happens in our beautiful head. They're all extremely important. They're all communicated together. It's the three musketeers. And the spirit is the fourth musketeer, if you would make the analogy. So our head gets a massive amount of information, 11 million of bits of information every second from our body. 11 million. That generalizes a lot because we still get 10 million from our eyes, 1 million from our ears, etc., etc. There's a massive amount of information in our head. That information somewhere is, say, composed and based on generalization, deletion, and all the kind of stuff on, okay, what does this mean? And then based on the general idea this one has here upstairs, based on, say, the surroundings we're in, what's happening, what's the context, it somewhere gives a meaning to the sensations. And what I mean with that, just imagine, we don't talk about the heart now, but just imagine, you have a fear of flying. Then having a crumpy feeling in your stomach when you're at the airport means, ooh, probably I'm afraid of flying. If you would now have your first date with somebody you really love and you really think, this could be the love of my life, that crunchy feeling in your stomach could actually mean butterflies. And nervousness that you see, and then in that moment is actually love. The other time, you're looking at a store, you're really hungry, and you feel the crunch here. They say, oh, that crunch is probably because I'm hungry. So the sensation of the crunch, the emotions we have, based on the context I interpreted here, what do those sensations mean? So we give, say, them a label. So if you talk about emotions, let's first put that. But of course, we talk about love, anger, rage, disgust, whatever you like, a desire. Those are words we label on it. But for some people, they're really hard to do. I think half of the music library we have on iTunes or whatever is about love and what it means. We don't still put our finger on it. If you look at it biologically, you could say, hey, love is an extreme connection of bonding where your heart says, hey, this is really amazing, this connection. And your gut says, oh, actually, this connection could be extremely beneficial for me. And your head then starts from saying, okay, so it's good for us, it's good for me. Now, probably this is a good relationship. Let's put a ring, as Beyonce, let's put a ring around the finger.
This is so fascinating and so interesting. So let's dive into the heart deeper, because emotions. I agree. I know about Lisa's work, and I know she actually said that we are not creating emotions in the brain. They are existing on a continuum. It's not all black and white, right? It's on a continuum. And this is our personal belief, and also a lot of researchers have this, came up to this, that first of all, you experience a sensation. This sensation exists in your body. On this sensation, the label that you put is the emotion that you focus on. So there are a lot of similar sensations that can tell you very different things, but we put the same label on them. So this is why emotional literacy is so important, to know this, first of all, the awareness of your body and the sensations, and to know the difference between the sensations so you can put the right labels on them, because that's how we communicate. We have words and sentences to make sentences because we have language. That's how we communicate. Our heart communicates through emotions, through putting labels on these sensations so we can better understand them, know our decisions, and what to do, the choices that we're going to make. On the Superhuman Summit, we have another coach, Dan. He actually going to talk about the language of emotions and how to put labels on these sensations.
So interesting. That's so interesting.
So interesting, so fascinating. I actually had a podcast with him, and probably by the time we publish this one, it's going to be published. So it's truly fascinating thing. Anyway, that's about emotions. The heart itself, it's a powerful electromagnetic tool. This means that it has the power to communicate outside of ourselves through the electromagnetic field, right?
Yes.
I want to understand, what does 5,000 times having stronger electromagnetic field than the brain needs? What does this mean? Because it's 5,000 strong electromagnetically. Okay, what does it mean?
What does it mean? And then again, I will go one step back. Not that I like to give long answer, but more to give, say, the explanation around it. The heart and the gut cannot communicate with language. What's amazingly of us humans, in our head, we have language, and we all know language is in our head, period. But we still have to communicate. How does a baby communicate with his mom or dad? You can say smile, nonverbal communication, but also by smell, touch, but also by the heartbeat. So our heartbeat and the electromagnetic field actually helps us to communicate, to synchronize, to come aware, are we safe, not safe in the group? How does it feel to be with somebody? If you go to a totally different side, if you go to a constellations training, you come aware what does actually our position in the constellation means. And your heart and also your gut are extremely important for that, because they sense and they, let's call it, communicate with each other what is good, what is not good. And if you like to have an idea about it, then say next time you step in an elevator, come aware where you like to stand and what happens if somebody steps in the elevator. Then your heart and gut right away have a response, and maybe you like to move in the elevator. Most people go to the wall because they like to have distance and what we call our personal safety spot. But if there's, say, Taylor Swift who steps in the elevator, or maybe Ryan Gosling for the other sex, then probably say, I'm not going to the other side of the elevator. Maybe I just step a little bit closer, because then your heart says, oh, wow, I like to be with that person. And then the heart communicates with each other on that part. So it helps us to communicate. Can I connect? Or should I be aware? Without even the words, because we don't always have words. And to make that more visible, I would say, look at a herd of, now let's call zebras. We can also take horses. But if you look in the wild, how zebras communicate, yeah, they do some, but it is now not really a verbal language from means go away or I like you. But the communication is actually on a you could say non-verbal way, on a quantum physics way of the heart communication. Where do they stand? Where don't they stand? What do they feel? What don't they feel? And it's just amazing how that works.
Do you believe that animals communicate this way?
Oh, absolutely. You can see it in fish. You can see it in every animal that lives in a group. If it's now fish or no, my zebras, what I use every time as an example, they communicate. And the flock of birds that fly as one flock, they can only do that by communication, but not by the communication we know. But if you look at quantum physics and bioquantum physics, you find all the answers there, how we communicate. If you ever look at quantum biology, then really you get totally surprised how quantum physics is totally ingrained in us. Just light that hits a leaf, without quantum physics, it would never reach the sites it has to reach in the leaf. Because how does a little electric photon knows, okay, I hit the leaf, then I go to the chlorophyll where actually I do an energy consumption. That the leaf doesn't know, but only by quantum physics it can happen. If you look at those kind of things, or the simple pot toll that becomes a frog, biology of quantum physics is amazing. It's in everyday life. We are also just animals. We are also just energy. And we communicate with energy. Everything in nature or in all the science know now, we are just energy. We are matter. If I hit myself, if you break our cells down, they become atoms. If you break the atoms down, it becomes quarks. If you break the quarks down, they become deuteromions and other kind of stuff. And if you break down, somewhere actually you come in positive and negative materia. We even have in our cells positive and negative materia. Why? So it's just freaking amazing how we communicate. Only we don't understand it because we can only observe it.
So do you believe that the development of language between humans, the verbal language, is in a way limiting us from the real language that nature developed for us, which is heart-to-heart language?
I would say, I know this is a yes or no. And they think, oh, Chris, just give me yes or no. Now, no, because it gives an extra dimension how we communicate, and we can put much more words on it. So we can much more better express what we mean and don't mean in a context. And language helps us also to verbalize an other quality we have as one of the few animals in this world, and it's actually a past and a future orientation. We know as human beings what is last week, what is next week. Your beautiful cat only knows now. If you would say to your cat, I will cuddle you in half an hour, the cat thinks cuddle. That means now. Does not know what a half an hour means. Language helps us actually to verbalize those kind of things and put learning somewhere in a text to communicate, hey, Jan, yesterday we walked in that bush there, and do you still know the 5 people who wanted to harass us and we run like hell? Okay, let's not go there today. Let's go today this route. So it helps us to communicate better things. So that's why I say it helps us. What is the pity why it does not help us? The other part is that if you look at the average education, school, what do we get learned in school? Where's the emphasis on language and knowledge and head? Most schools kicked out of the curriculum the somatic part, dance, even gym, art. So ways how you communicate in a different way with each other is skipped out of curriculum. So we don't train our kids anymore to listen to our feelings. And if you make it extremely extreme, it makes sense. And it doesn't make sense, then you need to go to the bathroom in the class. You lift your hand, dear teacher, can I go to the classroom? No, wait 5 minutes, then the class is over. It makes sense, but we also are somewhere educated not to listen anymore to our real needs. So that little kid is then sitting 5 minutes almost with knees together, not to pee in his or her pants. And of course, you would say it's a good thing not to go every time to the toilet if you want, but if you really need, you really need. And so there is that connection. Is it allowed to listen to the body? Is not there really anymore. Eh? If you ask people, what do you feel? A lot of people will say, I don't know, because they're disconnected with their feelings. And if you're disconnected with your feelings, and then the language here is beautiful, but actually you have a huge void what's happening here. So that's why I say yes and no. It's amazing because it gives an extra tool, and it would be even more amazing if we as humans would teach our offspring ourselves to listen to both.
That's also what I was suspecting, that it's not either or. It's usually whenever we get a new tool from nature, a new update, it's never worse, right? It's always better. But the problem with humans is that we usually focus on the newest thing and forget the old ancient wisdoms that we came here with. So we focus too much on the mind and communication language that we forgot the language that's more silent but speaking always, that only the heart can understand. Also the language that the gut can understand. We, as you say, we are training ourselves not to listen to our bodies, but to listen to authority. The authority is more important than our authority over our bodies. If we feel that we are healthy and some authority says no, you are not, we need to listen to them, not to our own bodies. Or
it is true. It's not about if I'm in favor or not in favor, but the COVID vaccination is a beautiful example of that. We were mandatory put on a vaccination scheme. And I will not say it is not good or it is good. Of course, it serves both sides. On the other hand, we were not allowed to listen to our own needs and our own body anymore. Because if you think who was actually in most need of the vaccination, now due with all respect, probably not you and me, who are healthy, take care of themselves, are somewhere aligned, have a healthy immune system. But we had to do it for herd immunity and all this kind of stuff. The number of people I heard, I'm almost never sick. Yeah, you know, the 1-2 day cough and then it's gone. I never was so many times sick when I got my 3 COVID vaccinations. And all 3 of them made me a couple of days sick. And of course, it makes sense. That's a reason of a vaccination. But on the other hand, I was not allowed to listen to my own body needs. And one side, it makes sense for the group, but the other side, it doesn't make sense for the individual anymore. And that's just an example, and say it's not that we should not have done it or we should have done it. It's much more we're not allowed to our own body anymore. And what do I really need? And actually, if you do that, then also take the consequences. Because if I don't like to take a vaccination, then get horrible sick and I need whatever's, then say, okay, hey, dear Chris, you didn't want the vaccination. You're last in line to get in the ER or in intensive care. We first take the other people. So it makes sense somewhere. We take, and they make it in a broader perspective, we take a lot of the personal individual responsibilities outside the human, put them somewhere in a government, and we make decisions. And of course, it gives also disconnect, because if I know that government is taking care of me, then I don't have to take care of me. So why should I listen to my own voices?
Yeah. So let's speak about how to listen to our own voices. How to listen to the 3 brains, and most importantly, how to align them. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about a technique that I've made for myself, but I'm also teaching other people how to use it whenever I'm in a dilemma, whenever I have 5 options that I need to choose from, and almost all of them are the right choice, or at least I'm thinking in the moment, so I cannot decide. So how to choose the right option for me? I'm calling this what's pushing me, what's pulling me technique. So I'm asking for each choice, what's pushing me to do this choice? Is it love or is it fear? For example, I'm thinking to quit and start my own business. Okay, why do I want it? What is pushing me towards this option? Is it love, because I really love to start my own business? Or is it fear that I'm looking a lot of motivational videos on YouTube and everyone says, be your own entrepreneur, start your business. So is it me being afraid to miss on something from life? So what's the predominant emotion? Is it love for what I want to do, for my purpose? Or is it fear of missing out? Okay, there are 5 other options. In all of them, I'm making this decision.
Yeah.
I'm eliminating the decisions that are based on fear. I'm focusing on the decisions based on love. Okay, there are 3 decisions based on love. What of these decisions, what I'm thinking about doing, is making me feel most alive? What of this I'm most expansive for? And that's the choice I'm going always with. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna make me money. Like if I do this, if I start my business, doesn't necessarily mean that you will not fail on this path.
Yeah.
What just means is that for some reason, the wisdom of your heart at that moment knows that that choice is right for you, for your personal growth. You need to take this choice. Doesn't matter if you fail or not on this choice. That's the direction for you on your life. That's your arc. That's your story narrative you need to follow for your character to develop in your story. That's how I'm seeing it. So I'm always choosing this option. What I'm using my mind for and my brain in my head for is to find the right ways to walk on this path. So I'm using my heart for the direction and I'm using my mind for the strategy, because I know this is a supercomputer and it can generate for me the most efficient and effective strategy for the way I want to go. But the way I want to go, I'm choosing here. And I believe in modern world, we twisted the roles. We are asking the mind for where we want to go, what's the most reasonable way, and we are asking the heart, but how, what, and listening to the emotions on the road. We just twisted we are putting the heart to give us the strategy and the mind to give us the direction, which should be the other way around. The heart gives us the direction, the mind gives us the strategy. So I want to ask you, how do you approach this problem when you have multiple decisions and options, and how do you solve it, and how do you align? Also, what is the gut brain, what the gut brain is saying?
Yeah, I started to laugh and actually started right away to click from, did you ever do the 3-brain preference score, Dejan? So I tried to find your score somewhere really quick.
I didn't do it, but
you're naughty boy. You still have to do it. Okay, that's, by the way, for everybody. That's a free test on my website, 3 Brains Preference. It's a free test in 11 languages, and you can become aware which brain is the most dominant when I make decisions in general. Now, having said that,
put the link in the description for the.
But having said that,
everybody that wants to do can go.
I started to laugh because that's why I want to see what you actually say, that when you make a decision, Dejan, you choose your heart as the primary source of your compass. And then use your head somewhere to make a strategic alignment about it, from what should I do and don't do. Not listening too much to your gut if you make money with it, or is it really good for you? Now, I will not say it's wrong, but I would say it's not always wise. Let's say it's rather sweet to you, because I'm still like to be on. Hey, my gut brain now says, be sweet to him because you still like to be on the summit, Chris. You don't like to be kicked out. My gut brain steps in and says,
please don't be sweet. Please just be brutally honest. Because
brutal
this is just my theory.
Okay, then I'm going to say what you do is absolutely wrong. In the way that you don't utilize your 3 wisdom centers to make the best decision. So now I'm brutally honest and just put some judgment in there that you're whatever you are. What do I mean with it? You have 3 wisdom centers: head, heart, gut. They all have a responsibility: survival, bonding, logic. So if you follow in your main decision your heart bonding, your passion, then that's the path you follow, and then you make sense with your head. That's still amazing, but your gut is not part of the discussion strategy. So sooner or later, when something happens and it doesn't work out as you wanted, you could say, oh shit, I should have listened to my gut feeling. I knew I had some bubbles, but I didn't listen to it because I loved it so much and I was so enthusiastic about it. Now, why did I just make the joke what you said? Before you make a decision, actually the alignment should start. So what is actually my preference of my head? What's the preference of my heart? What's the preference of my gut? Maybe you get 3 different answers. You see 3 different answers. Okay, I get 3 different answers. Let's try to make them, or how can I make them actually one? How can I make, say, somewhere a combined decision, or actually start thinking about it, What are the pros and cons of that, and what should be solved or done? So all three of them can say yes, and you can still follow your heart, but your gut and your head has to be in with the decision. Because then I regret, oh shit, I should have listened to my head, I should have followed my heart, I should have listened to my gut instinct. Does not happen. So the regret is not there anymore. And you use actually your 3 wisdom centers for making a decision. Of course, after the decision, as you said, it makes totally sense if then to implement the decision, you need your logic, your strategy, your cause and effect analysis, what's happening there. If you like to do your pricing or whatever you like to do, you need to put your gut in there. What am I worth? If you make it extremely black and white, if you follow your heart and you look at business-wise, then you deliver gold and get paid silver. Your profit and loss figures are not most times the best. If you follow only your gut, your profit and loss figures probably will be good, but you also put a price there, what you are worth. So you need both actually for perfect pricing. And then your head somewhere has to step in. How I'm going to communicate that? Do I put it as a full price, or do I do it a little bit installments? Will I just cut it down? Just like you said, actually, 4 days, $30,000 as value, less than 1K as investment. For 25 extreme experts. Just imagine what's the price for an expert. It's 40 euros for an expert. A person where, if you have a session with for 1 hour, probably ask you 5, 10, 20 times that fee. So this is just a freaking bargain. 40 euros to listen to every expert in the world. There's your head then stepping in to make it somewhere like a nice elevator pitch. So we need all 3 of them to make that decision and to strategize. But also then somebody says, hey, Dejan, do I get a discount? Then your gut has to step in. No. Everybody has the same pricing. Yeah, but I don't have a lot of money. I'm sad and I love you so much. And you're amazing, Dejan. And actually I have your poster in my room. Tries to get you in your heart. You still say, now it's really sweet that you say all the things about me. The answer still is no. Because your heart could feel compelled. The person likes me, admires me. Okay, I give you a discount. That's your heart. And then you need your gut. The same as your beautiful cat now does. Stretches his paw, and your heart says, okay, I will give you a little card. Yeah, but your gut, but now is the answer. Will your head, your heart, or your gut respond? Your gut would say, hey, move up. I'm now having a podcast. Your heart would say, okay, Chris, you have 2 minutes. I have to give her some food, or him. And your head would say, okay, next time I have a podcast, first take care that the cat is totally satisfied. They give it milk, food, a little mouse to run behind in the kitchen. Okay, you're done.
Okay, so let's summarize where my mistake is in what I'm doing. So you say that, it's okay to follow your heart, as they say, but first you start with the gut. Because
no, you don't start. You can say, I'm passionate about this, Chris. Your heart is okay. Okay, can my gut support this decision? Or what does my gut need to say yes to this decision? If I think it through, what would be the logical thing to do if I like to follow my passion? So actually make them part of the decision. You could say it's taking 3 people to dinner. You're one of them and 2 friends. In your case, you would say, hey guys, I'm passionate about X, Y, Z of food. Let's go there. And the other 2 have to follow. And then they sit there in a restaurant and they say, hey guys, what would you like to have? Then the head or the gut can step in. Actually, before you go into the restaurant, say, guys, we're all going to have dinner together. What shall we do? I love to have, say, Spanish food, a little bit tapas. The other one says, no, I like to have Greek. No, I like to have Italian. Then you have the 3 things. Then you can say, okay, so we all like Mediterranean food. That's amazing. Maybe we could find a place where they really have Mediterranean food, where they serve all 3 of it. How would that be? Oh, that's great. And all 3 are in. And so you make a discussion before you go into the restaurant. So in your case, you already went to the restaurant. In the restaurant, you said, hey guys, how are we going to deal with this?
I understand. So you take the 3 parts and you take the information from the 3 parts, and then you are finding a way for all of them to be aligned. Decision.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Brilliant. It's super fascinating, by the way. And I would love, like, I'm super excited for the summit itself, for the workshop. While you were talking about the summit and about the three brains and the gut and the heart, I thought that maybe we like underpriced the summit for a lot. Maybe I really listened to my heart and just like
sorry.
ignored my gut, but it's good for the people listening. So it's
But that's, if you think about it, because you say, oh wow, it's a lot of money. But if you have 25 world-renowned specialists in for 40 euros each, you can get their value. That's extremely cheap. If you ask me for coaching, I will ask X time the price of that. And probably all my colleagues in that summit the same as you. So you get actually totally, but that's then your head saying, okay, how can we make sense of this? My gut brain says, I love this summit, and I also love that it goes to a big audience, maybe people I never see, because based on other specialisms, they will attract other people. So we can communicate, we can, as a group, we can attract much more people and bring our message out. That's why I'm also love to be there, because with the 25 of us, we can attract a massive amount of people. I attract some people, somebody else attracts other people. They listen to different stories and think, oh, wow, that's interesting what that guy is saying or that girl is saying. Oh, that's interesting what Chris is saying. So that makes the whole community sense. And if it's then a lot or not a lot of money, that's not for me to say. But if you look at each individual, it's not so much. Actually, we could use, I'm Dutch, know that it's cheap.
Yeah. Anyway, it's super affordable, as you say, for 40, less than 40 euro. Actually, you get the opportunity to meet over 25 world renewed experts. So that's like it's unthinkable to not even consider just joining the summit, at least for one day, and seeing what's happening there and going through a transformation. So as for the, let's sum up all of our discussion, because I guess we can continue for hours, but our time is limited, so we need
that's for the next time, Dejan, if you like to talk more. Because I also love to, because all your examples and your insights gives us a beautiful to elevate to a higher level. So I love to talk to you.
Definitely. I want to ask you one final question. This is the juiciest question, I guess, and maybe the most woo-woo question. But you say that we are all energy, and that the quantum mechanics are integrated in us, which makes sense because we all come from that sea of quantum soup, and everything there is energy. We know about quantum entanglement, that particles very far distances, they react instantly. If one particle is here affected, the other reacts, no matter the distance between them. Do you believe, since our heart is so powerful electromagnetic field generator, do you believe when you make changes, heart changes, it literally affects the reality around you, reshapes in the quantum?
Absolutely. If you would go to Lynn McTaggart, she writes all books about it, the intention experiment, the bond, and how we connect. She has it's amazing books. She's a research journalist. Massive research in there is actually how we can change the reality by that, because we all influence people. So that's yes. And secondly, yes, also when you talk about entanglement, we're all connected, and people, you could say it's whooshy, and that research shows it not. As maybe you know, I'm also a Reiki master, besides all the other kind of masterships I had, just to learn how do we actually work. And I still remember, although I knew it, I was a little bit skeptical. And let's be honest in that part, because you talk about it, you do it, but something, it is not tangible for most people. It's not tangible. I don't see it, I don't taste it, so it's crap. I still remember for the exercise, I was doing my level 2, we had to do distant Reiki. And I'm on that moment living in Australia. And I choose, say, the parent of one of my dear friends, and I say, because the person that had some issues, said, is it allowed, could you ask the person if it's allowed to do distant Reiki on him? That person is 80 years old, is full Spanish. So, Catholic, doesn't believe in those kind of stuff. Already 80 years having a siesta, a really traditional Spanish, beautiful guy. And I'm doing distant Reiki on him, and I say, I don't say when, I don't say the day, because otherwise it could be influencing, say, the response. So I just do distant Reiki on him 3 times, without saying when. in different moments in 2 weeks. All the 3 times, he was highly energized. He could not have a siesta anymore. And he was walking through the whole, almost through the whole city. The 3rd time, he actually asked the person to ask me, could I do it on a different time so at least he could have his siesta? And I would not have believed it if not a person who said to me is really extremely, extremely, extremely down to earth. And that likely, and that's just an example. There are so many examples of that. But I came aware of it, and there are more things. The moment you put your 2 hands together, you can feel energy in between your hands. And everybody has some. If I put it here, I feel energy. And if you go more, you can almost feel it. What's happening there? That energy that is emitting from our body, but also our heart does that has an influence on each other. So the moment we change this and we start sending out, say, let's call it love, let's put a label on it, you will right away affect the people around you. You will affect actually maybe even more. If you read the bond of Electromagnetically, you would say you need 8 people in a connection to send out that energy, and you can do much more. Like community praying and those kind of stuff. We have an amazing energy and quality inside us. And the last thing to make it for people aware how that works, just imagine a magnet. You know a magnet, that metal thing that attracts metal. What's the difference between a magnet and just a piece of metal? I will tell you, because a piece of metal is just all metal atoms not aligned. The same piece of metal, the moment you align the atoms, becomes a magnet. And there's powerful things. Every metal you can make with every iron thing you can make a magnet from, as you know. Now, we humans are the same. If you're not aligned, all our atoms are everywhere. The moment we align our energy also from our heart, we become also almost a magnet, and we start attracting people, and we start repelling people, and we're creating a totally different kind of energy system around us.
That's so powerful. And I think we're going to end this podcast on this note, because this is actually the prelude to your work, to your talk on the Superhuman Summit.
Yeah.
For everybody that wants to align their 3 brains with the techniques and also get the science and theory behind this, strongly recommend go to the link in the description, get your 4-day pass, or go to lifecoachcode.com/superhuman summit, get your 4-day pass. You're going to meet Chris there. You're going to meet over 25 other coaches and experts there on other topics. But if you want to become a magnet and align your atoms, align your 3 brains, and make your energy so much more powerful coming from your heart center and reshaping reality around you literally in distance as we spoke, then go to the link in the description, get your ticket, and you will have the opportunity to work with Chris personally. It's such an honor. You have no idea how much I appreciate this and for you being here. Where can people find you if they want to be in contact with you?
The easy one is just like your name. We have a difficult name now. Yours expands man a little bit. You just type in Christoffel Sneijders, and Sneijders, if then Google will change it and find me. Otherwise, it's even more simple. 3 Brains Intelligence. Type in 3 Brains Intelligence. You find my website. You find me. You find books. You find all kind of stuff. Otherwise, use my name. But anyhow, remember, everybody who listens to this, less than 40 euros to talk with me, but every other specialist there. Try to find that somewhere else. Less than 40 euros for an amazing specialist. Dejan, me, and 23 or even more other ones. I would say it's a freaking bargain.
It is, and I'm super excited. I'm actually, I cannot wait, and because I know that just what we are speaking right now today with you is so powerful. Like, it's insanely powerful if you take control of your heart. Like, if you take alignment, you make alignment with your 3 brains, and just how much powerful and how much change that can bring to your life. Not to speak that there will be 25 other topics just as powerful as this one that are all like puzzle pieces that will fit perfectly together to make you a literal superhuman. So 40 euros for that, it's a bargain. I will, if somebody offers me this, I'll literally just give to them just to see what will happen. Literally, that's the amount of money.
Yes, it is. Hey, thank you so much. And I just want to say, when we talk about magnets, how we met each other some time ago was also like a magnet, because we didn't know each other, and somewhere we connected with each other, because somewhere I almost say our energy was sending out, we need to connect. Because more than 1 year ago we didn't know each other.
Yeah, actually, when I think about it, it was more than 1 year. Then you did it, and then we connected. So
that's the energy we send out.
It's so interesting to think about that. Over distance, people you don't know about, you affect by your energy. So
I'd love to see you next time.
Thank you so much. I don't want to finish this podcast, but eventually
we have to finish. Otherwise, there's a client waiting for me.
Thank you so much, everyone. We're gonna see each other in the next episode. But again, if you want to find this amazing opportunity in your life again, you will not be able to. So if you want to jump in and get your 4-day pass for the Superhuman Summit, go to the link in the description, go to lifecoachcode.com/superhuman summit and get your 4-day pass from there. Everything we talked about today with Chris is just a tiny glimpse of what the real superpower of your heart is. It's a tiny piece of the puzzle that on the summit you're gonna find the whole picture for the heart, but also for all the other 4 fundamental pillars during the 4-day period. So go to the link in the description or go to lifecoachcode.com/superhuman summit and see you in there. And also see you in the next episode.